Hey, welcome in everyone to another edition of Dom Time. I have an all-star panel with me tonight. 3 Daily News columnists. Well, one guy is a Philly.com. I'm a Daily News columnist too, and Christine Flowers will join us momentarily. Writes for the Philadelphia Daily News. With us in Las Vegas is Dennis Hoff, who's the owner, purveyor of the world-famous moonlit bunny ranch that you see on HBO. Our subject tonight, our jumping-off point, is Senator Robert Menendez. I want to put up on the screen and read for you what the Asbury Park Press said about Menendez and his alleged escapades in the Dominican Republic. They said Menendez is certainly innocent until proven guilty, entitled to all the protections the Constitution and fairness afford, but in the real world, the stink of unethical behavior and corruption are hard to shake. All the more reason for the investigators to be vigorous and timely. Menendez's chairmanship should be put on hold until those investigations are complete. And the investigations involve the allegations that Robert Menendez went to the Dominican Republic, went to a house or houses of prostitution, or brought in prostitutes for various parties with a friend who was well-positioned, maybe even with girls that were underage. Joining us on my left tonight to talk about this is John Featherman, who's a columnist. Read him multiple times a week at Philly.com. On my right, Christine Flowers. Christine is a lawyer for the Joseph M. Rullo and Associates PC and a Daily News columnist on Fridays, and someone who has a deep connection to women, immigrant women, and immigrants in general. That's her field of practice. And we'll talk with Dennis Hoff in a moment, but I want to ask John Featherman, thank you for writing the column today, promoting the show tonight. John, though, would you really want to call these women, you're a libertarian, sex workers? Would you really say that on my show here tonight? Come on.
Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is it's not only women who work in this industry. Believe it or not, there are actually men who are sex workers, men who perform sex.
You've said it now. Okay,
sure.
So sex workers.
Sex workers for men and for women.
Why would you use that terminology? Why not the current term prostitute?
I think it's pretty demeaning. I think that we should refer to them as what they are. They're sex workers. They're people that our U.S. senators go to, our congressmen, people who belong to unions, everybody. And so I think we should treat them like human beings, because they are.
All right, we'll get to Christine Flowers' reaction to that. Let's go to Vegas and talk with Dennis Hoff. Hey, Dennis, welcome back. We can't keep up with Dennis Hoff enough. You've heard our guest here is a libertarian, Dennis, say, do you call the women, it's only women, I believe, that work with you. Do you call them sex workers?
Well, yes, we do, and we call them working girls. We go one step farther, but he's exactly right.
And Dennis, this your take on this whole thing, what's the biggest upside in your mind? Is it the disease factor, or is it something else to legalize or to criminalize prostitution?
Well, it takes the criminality out of it. I mean, look at Al Capone and look at it now. I mean, the liquor industry puts $6 billion a year into the federal government instead of taking money out of the hands of the government by illegal prostitution. You know, this Menendez, my take on it is this: what a shocker! A man wants sex, and he's going to break his marriage vows. If you read Larry Flint's book, he'll tell you that a politician has gone down over sex every 6 months for the last 30 years. And let's go down some of them. Vitter, Livingston, 3 days from being Speaker of the House when Larry Flint got him. You know, they all do it. Spitzer, it's disgusting.
Oh, wait a minute, Dennis, I've got to challenge you there now. They all do it. You see, that's the road that we go down.
Well, excuse me. A lot of people like sex with girls, and a lot of they like boys. It doesn't matter. A lot of politicians will buy sex, and it just happens. That's the way.
I want viewers to know,
Dennis, much bigger than Menendez have been to the bunny ranch.
So that you've had any number of politicians that come there for your services, and I've been to your place as a correspondent, someone looking at this, and you blacken out the windows, you bring them in a limo. That's the modality, right?
Absolutely.
Christine Flowers is with us, who's a writer for the Philadelphia Daily News. And Christine, which part would you like to start with here? Would you call these women sex workers? Isn't that being kind?
Okay. Hey, John, good to see you.
Same here.
I think when we're talking about the terminology being demeaning, I think that we're completely losing sight of the fact that it's actually the turning women and the sex act into a commodity. That's what's demeaning here. in actually putting it out for trade, in making what is, and I understand some people say that sex can be separated from affection and from love and what have you, but when you do that, you really are turning it into a commodity that can be sold, can be bartered for. And I know that some people have said that if you decriminalize it as opposed to legalizing it, which there is a difference, right. If you decriminalize prostitution, you will eliminate the black market, and you will make it a safer endeavor for women and for men to enter.
Let me bring in Dennis Hoff with you here, Christine. All right, you heard her argument, John. Dennis, these women that you work with, are they really able to separate this at the end of the day? Are they really just entrepreneurs and this is just a commodity?
They're business women. I mean, most people don't like to do any job. They do it for the money, and some of our girls have mid-six-figure incomes. Legalization works, because if you don't have legalization, you've got what you've got in your city in the hands of criminals. You've got drugs in the business. You've got pimps. It's a disgusting business.
Well, wait a minute, Dennis, would you not consider yourself to be a pimp? What term do you use for yourself, Dennis Hoff?
Well, it depends on who's saying it. When Sean Hannity says it, I'm offended, and we're going to fight. If Snoop Dogg or Little John says it, then they mean pimp. Cool. I'm not a pimp. I own a business. The state of Nevada has decided to legalize this business, as all states should. And so I live within the rules, and that's how I make my living.
All right, Dennis, thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll take your calls coming up, and I have John Featherman, Christine Flowers with us. We'll let the two of them discuss it. Coming up, I want to talk about the fact it's often said, if we just legalize prostitution, disease is ridden, we'll collect taxes on it, it'll be a wonderful world of sex workers. You're viewing Dom Time.